what are the best exercises to build muscle? Now, I could have put about 100 different exercises in this video because let's be real, every exercise has practical application when it comes to fitness. But when you're talking about the top 10 muscle building exercises that you should be doing for maximum development, these 10 reign supreme. All right, so the first one, number one, and if you've been watching this channel for a while, you're going to know that I'm going to say number one is going to be the bench press. The bench press is the number one exercising for building muscle all over your upper body, okay? It builds total upper body strength. It builds every muscle from your shoulders, your chests, your arms, even your lats get hit when you bench press correctly. I was a competitive powerlifter for many years, and I've gotten my bench press to over 400 pounds. And I also believe that chest is one of my best body parts. And that's because I focus a lot of time on the bench press. You can place a lot of tension on the pecs when you do bench press. And I don't know a good bodybuilder or someone with a really good physique who doesn't barbell bench press. So that's going to be number one for me, the barbell bench press. And these are in no particular order. I have to say that too. They're not in any particular order. They're just kind of what was rattled off the top of my head as far as just going through each body part, all right? Number two, I put here the dumbbell one-arm preacher curl, done specifically off an incline bench. I think this is far superior to doing it off of a preacher bench. And the reason why I like doing it off the incline bench is because it's kind of a mix here between a preacher curl and a concentration curl. So you get the best of both worlds here. You're going to keep a lot of tension on the bicep. And the thing that I liked about this the most is it places the biceps under a lot of tension, but it's done very strictly. You can't cheat this movement. There's no way. Whereas if you had like a barbell curl or even like a standard dumbbell curl, you can heave that weight up and just get it up. But with this, you literally have tension on the bicep the entire time, and all you have to do is squeeze. So it's a really good movement for maximum development of the biceps. All right. Number three, cable laterals. Now you could do these a bunch of different ways. You could do it lying down. You could do them standing. You could do them one arm. Really doesn't matter here. But the reason why I picked cable laterals over dumbbell laterals is because cable laterals provide a different stimulus to that middle deltoid. So when you're looking at someone and you want to have those 3D delts, you have to really focus on developing that middle deltoid. That middle deltoid is responsible for that 3D look. So when you do a cable lateral raise, you're actually putting a lot of tension on those middle delts. I like using them with a cuff because I take my wrist out of the equation. I take my hands out of the equation. My forearms are not in it. And I'm literally just using my medial delt to bring the weight up and down. And again, when you use the cable, you have constant and maximum tension on that middle delt. Again, another theme here, it's a very strict movement. With dumbbells, you kind of lose tension during certain ranges of motion, but at the same time, it's very easy to heave the weight up and down. But when you do a cable in this case, it's very hard to cheat it. It's very easy to keep the movement strict. And again, strict. And if you would have asked me to build the top 10 list years ago, I probably would have had a different answer for you. But the reason why I'm picking a lot of these movements now is because they're strict. They really put that tension. Remember, we're talking about top 10 exercises that for maximum development here, not just top 10 random exercises. All right. So cable laterals made it into this list. All right. Number four, barbell squats. This is the king movement. But the reason why I put it on this list, not just for quad development, squats help you to learn how to actually push yourself. A hard set of squats will kill you. You'll be dead for hours after a hard set of squats. So I believe that every person doing a barbell squat is also not only developing total body strength, because it does make you stronger overall, but it also helps you to learn how to push yourself and learn how close you are to failure. Because trust me, when you fail with the bar on your back, it's not an easy thing. And that kind of carryover, that learning carryover to every other exercise from that point, you start to realize, okay, like, you know, if I'm squatting 400 pounds, 300 pounds, whatever the number is, and you're trying to eke out that last rep, you truly know if you have it or if you don't have it when you're barbell squatting. So that learning curve in itself is way more powerful than the actual exercise that will carry over to every other thing. In addition, when you squat, you're going to work a ton of different muscles. And like I said, you're just going to build overall power and strength, which will carry over to every other exercise that you do. But again, when it comes to quad development, I don't think that squats are ideal for that. But I think squats have their place in any routine. All right, number 5, barbell rows. So the reason why I put barbell rows here and not deadlifts is because, again, we're talking about developing maximum muscle tissue on your frame, visually what you see. And I think that the barbell row is way better than the deadlift in this case, okay? Deadlifts are a great movement, don't get me wrong. But when it comes for maximum development of the back, nothing beats a barbell row. When you do a barbell row, you're also going to be working your erectors of your spine, which primarily are worked when you do deadlifts, but it develops your entire back from start to finish. When you're doing a deadlift, it's more of an isometric movement, meaning that your body's not really moving, you're just holding the weight statically. But when you're doing a barbell row, you're actually contracting those back muscles. So that's why I believe a barbell row is more superior than deadlifts. But again, you're going to be developing your entire back here. And the cool part about barbell rows is you can manipulate your hands to place the movement more focused on your lats, or place your hands a little bit wider and emphasis more on that upper back and upper back thickness portion of it. So I believe a barbell row is pretty much king when it comes to developing the entire posterior chain, or every muscle that you can't see. All right. Number 6, triceps. Now we're going to talk about. I love a one-arm tricep braced extension. And the reason why I like it like this, because it's a very strict movement. It puts constant tension on the tricep. So 2 common themes here with all these exercises: constant tension, because that's what builds muscle, and strict movements. When I do triceps, I just want to work my triceps. You could do them regular one arm, you could do it with a cable. But again, once you start getting heavy enough, you're going to start recruiting different muscles. But when you turn around and you kind of go against the machine, you're braced. You have no choice but to squeeze that muscle. And when you take that movement to failure, it's to failure for the tricep, nothing else. So again, I believe that that's one of the best movements to develop the tricep. Again, now you're probably asking, well, why not close grip bench press or something like that? Again, when we're talking about developing this one muscle group, that's going to be it. Close grip bench press is a great movement. Don't get me wrong. But again, you're going to be recruiting other body parts in there. I want to develop the triceps. I want to focus strictly on that and put constant tension on that. That's why I made it to the list. All right. Number 7, one-arm lat pull downs. I believe these are superior to regular pull downs because you can really, truly isolate each lat. You prevent imbalances because, sometimes you look in the mirror and you notice, hey, one side may be a little bit more developed than the other. The dominant side is typically the side that's more developed because we use it more. So when you do a lat pull down, you still kind of bias one side. But when you do one arm at a time, you can really focus and put tension on the weaker side and the strong side to develop both sides evenly. I would recommend always starting with the weaker side whenever you do anything one-armed, because it will help bring up those imbalances, like I said. And again, it just puts a lot more emphasis on the lats than an actual lat pull down. Yes, you're going to be using a little bit less weight, obviously, but the benefits are going to be strict lat development, which is what we want. With a pull down, you're going to basically be developing the whole back, so to say, but we want to focus on just the lats here, so that's why I made it to the list. All right, number 8, neutral grip shrugs. Neutral grip shrugs are one of the best exercises for developing the traps and overall trap thickness. And the reason why is because when we talk about developing the traps, we need to follow the fibers. Your trap muscles go this way, okay? They kind of move in this pattern. So when you're grabbing in a neutral grip, you're following those fibers to get the maximum tension on the traps. When you use like a barbell, for example, or dumbbell, well, barbell we'll talk about first. Use a barbell, you have to put your hands overhand. When you put your hands overhand, you're really not pulling in the same direction as the fiber. Now you're probably asking, well, what about dumbbells? Well, dumbbells are great as well. You can bring them in a neutral position. But the problem with dumbbells is you can only hold on to so much. You're limited by your grip. And yes, you can use straps, but eventually you're going to get strong enough to the point where you're going to be shrugging 150 plus. and it's just not going to be feasible to pick them up and get them in position.
Stop it.
However, if you use a neutral grip machine or even like a trap bar, you can really load the weight on there and really overload that area without having to worry about lugging heavy dumbbells into place to get them into position, to move them around, to shrug them. It's just not as comfortable. You want to be comfortable and stable so you can just place the tension on the traps and nothing else. All right, so that's why it made it to the list. Number 9, hamstring curls. Again, we're talking about total body development here. If you want a good set of hamstrings, you got to work them, and you got to work them directly. It's very similar to, I know what you're probably thinking, well, what about an RDL? You're going to get so much more bang for your buck. Yeah, true. RDLs do work a lot of that posterior chain, and it does hit your hamstrings. However, direct work to the hamstrings, hamstring curls. Nothing beats that movement. Again, for getting that hang in your hamstrings, especially if you're a competitive bodybuilder from the side, really important. If you're just the average lifter looking to have a better physique, this movement is plenty. You probably don't even train legs if that's the case, but this movement is plenty to develop the overall hamstrings and just like I said, put maximum tension where it needs to be. And also, it's less risky. You can get hurt doing an RDL. I mean, you can get hurt doing any exercise, don't get me wrong, but you're more prone to getting hurt doing a heavy RDL versus hamstring curls. Whether it's a machine or play little one, doesn't matter. All right. And number 10, and this one is one of my favorites for upper back development. It's one of my favorites for developing the rear delts, the cable rear delt flies. I really like this movement. I like to do it against an incline bench because it's strict. Same theme here. It's strict, constant tension on those muscles. Again, and those rear delt muscles, when they're developed correctly, the rear delt, the rhomboids, the middle traps, that detail of your upper back, when you take your shirt off, even if you're wearing a tank top, or even if you're wearing a shirt, those details pop through. And when people see you from behind, again, you can't see what people see when they look at you from behind, but when they see you from behind, those muscles pop out, and you can tell that's a whole different level of development. Even the average person can pick that up. So I love that. Again, strict, constant tension on there, and also helps to improve your posture. Now, if you're confused about how to add all these exercises into a routine, I got you covered. I have a free 6-week training program that I want to give you. No strings attached. I just want to help you to avoid all the mistakes that I made along my 20-year lifting journey to build muscle. All right? This was Anthony, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.